gangs, no prisoners, baby. Look at that. What the hell? They can try, but they'll never take.
Hello, foodie beauties.
What is up, guys? What is up? It is Tasty Motive. We're back, guys. We're back. Look what I have in front of me. Your favorite chili cheese fries and a burger. Let's go ahead and set it up. All right, so welcome back, guys. Today we have a special collab with Foodie Beauty, also known as OG, the Chantal Eating Show. What is up, girl? You guys check it out, man. Check it out, dude. Oh my god, do you see the steam coming out, guys? Like, seriously, dude, look at this. Oh my god. So let's get into it, guys. I have a burger right here, a hamburger. It's basically, you know, the typical hamburger you got. I don't know if you guys can, I'm sure you guys notice I have a new setup here. We got, you know, some new lighting and a new table and stuff like that. I have some Thousand Island right here, and I have some ranch. First of all, let's dig right in, guys. No games, no prisoners. We're doing a story time and a collab. Oh wow. You guys remember this, the OG guys. You guys remember this one. You've been around for a while. So what's up, guys? I'm collabing today with Foodie Beauty. I'm sure most of you know who she is. If you don't, I'm gonna tell you right now. You guys should definitely go subscribe, man. Her personality is off the chain, man. She gives such an awesome atmosphere, man, to her videos, and her live streams are so comforting. Like, I just be sitting in there. She just be doing herself, man, you know. Basically, when I had started YouTube, I had reached out to Chantal to do a collab. This was, I think, what was it, like back in May? And she was so nice to me, guys. She was so humble. She's like, sure. She's like, I don't know what a collab is. I've never done one before, but I'm willing to help you out. So I was her very first collab, and now she's at almost 12K, guys. So I want you guys definitely to go over there. Tasty Raid. You're gonna ask, well, what's a Tasty Raid? That's when we go to her channel and we subscribe, guys, and we show her love. Tasty Raid. When you go over there to her channel after this video, smash the Tasty Raid in the comments. TASTEE, obviously, and then Raid, RAD. You go smash. You like her video, go subscribe and drop a comment for her, guys. I would really hope for you guys to subscribe to her. She eats bomb food, guys. I mean, she's off the chain, dude. Like, literally, like, she is dope. But I mean, Jesus, look at this, guys. Let's get it in. Oh my god. If you're new to my channel from Foodie Beauty, thank you so much for coming down. I hope to see you subscribe. So these chili cheese fries were I think they were the very first chili cheese fries video I ever did. They're from Tan's Burgers here in Los Angeles. I mean, just check it out, dude. It is literally to die for. I mean, it don't get any better than this when it's chili cheese fries, man. Look at that. You know, Chantal's eating show, man, she spends a lot of time with her subscribers. As much as I go live, she goes live. We go live at the same rate. She's very interacting with her subscribers, always commenting, replying back to comments, always noticing everybody in her lives. I mean, she's just a warrior. Look at that, guys. Thumbs up for the new setup, guys. Oh my goodness. That's the Thousand Island right here, guys. So basically, we're gonna jump right into a story time. Story time is gonna be about my high school. What I experienced when I was in high school, what I did, some of the things I used to do, man, you know, when I was younger. Man, when I was in middle school, man, you know, when I was in middle school, I really didn't get into too much trouble, man. Really didn't get into too much trouble. You know, I really didn't get into too much trouble, man. It's like, man, when I hit like the end of middle school, man, I noticed like I was just starting to change, like my whole persona, and I started hanging around the wrong guys and stuff like that. And I got into high school, man, and man, I started to like smoke weed and stuff, man, and hang out with the wrong people, you know. And basically, started getting myself in a lot of trouble, man. At the age of like 13, man, was the first time that I ever smoked any weed, right? And it was with all people. It was with my sister's baby's dad. And man, I remember since that first time I did that weed, bro, my whole persona just changed. Like, I don't know what it was. I don't know why. I literally just wanted to be a bad butt, man, you know. And I started hanging around him and started smoking weed, and then from there, man, going on into high school, got like a disruptive personality. I didn't care. I didn't really care about anything. I would be late to class, man. Wouldn't do my homework, dude. I remember like literally like I got straight F's, bro. I got straight F's, dude. Like, the only class I passed, I mean, it's, you know, it's not funny, it's pretty unfortunate, but the only class I passed, man, was PE, bro. Can you believe that? The only class I passed was PE one year. I would literally get homework. I would just go to school. I would just go to school basically just to go to school, man. I wouldn't do no work. I wouldn't do anything, man. You know what I mean? And you know, basically, man, I started to ditch school. I started ditching school, man. I started ditching school, and that's when the real problem started, you know. That's when the real problem started, man. When I started ditching school, hanging out in the street, man, I started to see all kinds of different things, learn all kinds of different things from the street. And I remember, man, I remember one time I ditched school with a couple buddies, and one of my buddy's friends, his older brother and his friend picked us up. And I remember they had a gun in the car. And I remember being that young, dude. I thought that was so cool, right? I thought it was so badass. I thought it was fitting in the crowd, you know. Little did I know how much consequence being around those people would bring me later in life, you know what I mean? And so I remember they picked us up and we took off, and they had like a 38 caliber with him, and we were just driving around, dude, smoking weed, drinking, just not caring, dude. I was 15 years old, dude. 15 years old, and I thought that kind of stuff was cool, you know what I mean? To me, it was dope, you know. Until I got my first real like glimpse of like crime, you know. And when I experienced that, I won't get into too much about that, but when I experienced that, it kind of was a wake-up call to me, you know. Kind of was like a wake-up call, like, oh shoot, you know, this is real. This is the real deal. Like, I'm actually hanging around people I wanted to be like. And I remember in my head thinking how cool it was, bro. How cool it was to be doing the things I was, you know, so young and naive. You know what I mean? So young and naive to the game. And I progressed after that with getting into fights, man, getting ridden up, not going to school. I put a ton of problems on my parents, man, especially my mom. I put a ton of problems on my parents. You know, they wouldn't understand me. We would argue, you know. I wouldn't care. And that's when I began to start getting kicked out of the house, man. They had enough of me. And I got kicked out. At 15 years old, I hit the streets. Not going to school. And in the street. And that's when I really learned what it was like to be, what it was to be who I wanted to be without a roof over my head. And that's when I started to learn the hard way. You know, I stayed homeless for like damn, dude, like a month, you know. And boy, the first like week was fun, but let me tell you something. After that week, it got hard. I started to really like figure out, like, man, you know what? This ain't no joke. Like, this is real deal, you know. I'm in the street. I'm 15 years old. I'm vulnerable. You know, I was jumping from house to house, me and my buddy, and you know, there be times where, man, we were just eating like whatever we could get our hands on, you know. And I remember, man, we'd stay out, we'd go spray cannon, hitting up the walls, man, smoking weed. I remember I was around a like harder drugs, but I just, at that point in my life, it didn't end up happening that I tried it. Eventually I did, but it didn't happen at that point, which is very surprising to me, considering the fact that I was around that. I remember we were sleeping on a rooftop. I slept on a rooftop for 2.5 weeks. What happened is it was a market, and on side of the market, it was enclosed, but the fence on the bottom, it was open, so we could go under. And then they had a ladder. It was a metal ladder that went to the top, but that wasn't locked. It didn't have a lock. So at night we would go to the rooftop, smoke weed, drink, and just hang out, sleep on the roof. Morning would come, we'd take off out onto the streets to find out what would happen next, you know. And I met a lot of people, man, when I was on the street, man. I met a lot of people. It wasn't the only time that I was homeless, but I met a lot of people, man. And let me tell you something, man. You should always be grateful for what you have, you know. Always be grateful for everything that's in your life, the roof over your head, the money in your pocket, whatever, even if it's $1 or $1 million, the food in your fridge, man. Because you know what, I slept, man, on like park benches, but that was because I made that choice for myself. Like, that's what I wanted to do, you know. That's what I thought was cool, you know. And I had to learn the hard way, you know. I didn't even get it. I wasn't even able to graduate from high school, you know, based on the actions that I wanted to take, you know, the things that I wanted to do that I thought was cool, you know, which actually I look back now and I wish I would have never done that. I wish I would have stayed in school. I wish I would have did right, you know, but I was so naive and so young, you know. And if you're a youngin and you're watching this, stay in school, man. Stay in school, get your grades up, graduate, be somebody, you know. Don't go through what I went through. You know, don't go through what I went through. Don't do what I did. It's not worth it, you know. I thought those people were my friends, and I know you probably heard this before, but I thought these people were my friends, man. But you know, when I went to jail, they weren't around. When I went to jail, they didn't put money in my books. When I went to jail, they didn't help me. You know who helped me? My family. My family helped me, you know. And sometimes, you know what it is sometimes certain people, they gotta learn the hard way, and sometimes it costs their life. sometimes it costs their life. And that's just the way the ball rolls. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. I've had a lot of people tell me that they think I'd be a good mentor for children. You know what, and I think I could help certain people, you know, the young youth, adolescents, you know, not go through what I went through, because I would never want my kids to go through what I went through. I would never want somebody I care for or love, or even a friend, you know, to go through what I went through, you know. So, what eventually got me kicked out of high school was I got into like a really brutal fight, and I had gotten so many chances thanks to my mom. I had gotten so many chances to progress, you know, to progress. You know, she gave me opportunities. She would go fight with the principal and the teachers to keep me in school when I was being a dumb butt. You know, I would go back. You know, I would go back and be good in school for like 2 weeks and then mess up again. You know, and but eventually that last fight I got into, we both ended up in the emergency room, and we ended up in the emergency room, and I remember sitting in his office, and I remember, you know, it was a really bad fight. And he said, "Man, look at you." He said, "Look at you, look at you, look at him." We're both in the office sitting side by side. Me and the guy got in a fight. We said, "Look at you, look at him." It's like, you know what? You know what's sad is he's gonna get another chance, but you're not. You're done. You're expelled. He told me like that. And I remember sitting there hearing him, and I'm like, oh my God, like I was just like, wow, you know, like wow. And this is all prior to me going on the streets, getting kicked out of my house. Sorry, I kind of went backwards and then forwards. But he said, "You're done. That's it." Mom came, picked me up, took me to the ER. Had a concussion. What had happened is we were getting down and we were fighting, and then he had hit me. And when he hit me, I kind of went backwards, and there was a pole, you know, the big, you know, the black, the gray coat poles that used to be in the schools, like going up. And I hit the side of my head with the pole, and I just dazed out. And by that time, the security had come and they wrapped us up. And you know, eventually dropped out of school for a while. Ended up going back to another school in the same district. Gave me another chance, and I messed that up too. I did well for like 2 months. Ended up running into some guys that I knew from certain cliques, and yeah, from as soon as they came into that school, man, we just destroyed it. Another fight led to me getting kicked out of that school, and eventually, man, that was it. I got kicked out of that school. I was offered continuation school to acquire a GED or even graduate. Didn't choose to go, and man, and I ended up in the street again. Ended up in the street again, and this time it got worse. It got a lot worse. I got kicked out, and I stand about a year in the street, and man, oh man, did I get into some mischief in the street. I am so surprised that, you know, I'm not dead or in prison. And you know, I look back at all these things, and I know it's made me a better person. And you might ask, a better person? How has that made you a better person? You know, the things you learned from the street, as far as street justice, street knowledge, street cred, it's something they can't teach you in a textbook. It's something you have to live. You have to experience. You have to learn the knowledge, street knowledge. And that's helped me get through a lot of hard times. You know, you might say, well, how? You know, just what I went through and what I seen and how I had to suffer, and the things I learned from different people going along in the street, who you could trust, who you couldn't trust, who was out to get you, who wasn't, who was really trying to help you. There's so little people in the street trying to help you when you're out there. There's so little people in the street trying to help you when you're out there. And sometimes you got to learn that the hard way, and I did. People don't care, nobody reached out to try to save me. No one said, hey, come to my house, son, let me help you. It doesn't happen, guys. It doesn't happen like that, man. You don't get no real breaks in the street. Came to the time where I had to literally beg for food, man. I thought I had to literally beg for food. I had to beg for food, and at that point, man, I was just like, wow, I want to go home. I want to go home, and I was done. I was done. I like I said in the beginning, it's all fun and gravy, and you're living your life and you're happy, parents, but you start to realize how much you do need your parents, as a young man. And I spent Christmas on the street. I spent Christmas in the street. I called my mom to go home, and I spent it in the street. They told me no, so I hung the phone up. And I remember walking down the street, seeing families in their house with their trees and their kids laughing, people outside, and I slept on the street that night. And it was a wake up call for me. It was a wake up call, and it was real hard. I'm not gonna lie, it was real hard. It was real cold, and it was real hard to go through. But you know what? It made me a better person. It made me a better person, and understood not to take for granted, the things in life. I'm a person of intelligence. I'm a person that has a lot of street knowledge. I'm a person who reads a lot. I consider myself a very unique individual. I come on YouTube here to, try to spread influence, make some people happy, lift some people up, and do the best I can, because I want to help people, But I can, I also have a side to me that's not jolly, that's not nice, and I try to hide that deep inside. But I love what I do on here. I love what I do on YouTube. I love the interaction. I love the inspiration from these people. I know, there are some others out there who don't, care for me, but I'm gonna keep doing it. They can never take me. They could try, but they can never take me. And I always believe that, because I learned that. I earned that. I earned that. You know what I mean? I really did. And I feel like this has been such a beautiful video. I've talked a lot about, just the struggles, and I mean, I can get into it more, but let's leave that for another time. We've just, what a feast, I enjoyed this video a lot, man. I felt like, I really hope I can reach some of you, man. I don't know. You never know what someone's going through. You never know if they're heading the direction I was. I'm gonna tell you, stay in school no matter what you do. Stay in school. Listen to your parents, no matter how hard it is, no matter how much you don't go through what I went through. It's not worth it. It's not worth it, young man. It's not worth it, young lady. I know it's hard. I know it's really hard. But stay focused. Stay focused, and I promise, not everything lasts forever. Not everything lasts forever. This too shall pass. And yeah, guys, it's been a great video. I enjoyed the food. I enjoyed my collab. Thank you so much again, Chantel, aka Foodie Beauty. Guys, go subscribe, man. Tasty raid, guys. Tasty raid, man. It was awesome. The chili cheese fries are amazing. The burger was amazing. And the conversation was amazing. What more can you ask? But let's keep it moving, guys. We have goals on here. We're getting there, and we're gonna make it to wherever the wind blows, like I've said to you guys before. And if you like this video, consider subscribing. If you like this video, consider liking the video. Help me out, and I'll continue to do these talks. There's a lot more I gotta tell you. But that's gonna wrap it up. That's gonna wrap the video, guys. If nobody loves you guys, Tasty loves you. All right, it's been your boy, and we out.